Leo, October is not going to be just another month. This is a time that will stir the ground beneath your feet, a moment when the things you thought were steady may shift, showing you new sides of yourself and of life. Imagine walking into a room you know well, and suddenly the light changes. The same furniture, the same walls, but everything feels different. That is October for you, Leo. It is a month that challenges your sense of control, but also gifts you the clarity and power you've been craving. Before we dive into these predictions, let me remind you who I am. I have spent years not only studying the movements of the stars, but also shaping them into stories that resonate deeply with people's lives. Beyond astrology, I bring the eyes of a storyteller and the heart of a guide, so every message you hear is meant to connect with you, not just inform you. My goal here is simple: to make you feel seen, to spark reflection, and to leave you with a sense of both wonder and direction. In this video, we will explore everything that matters to you most: your love life, your career, your finances, your health, and the hidden warnings you need to pay attention to. But this isn't going to be a dry forecast. It is a journey, a narrative, a moment of truth-telling, where you'll see yourself reflected back in ways you might not expect. And remember, Leo, engagement is key here. The more you interact with what I'm sharing, the more these messages will root themselves into your reality. So stay with me until the end, because every part of this story carries something essential for you. Now let's step into the energy of October and see where the universe is guiding you. October arrives for you, Leo, with a mixture of opportunities and challenges woven together, almost like fire and wind shaping each other. On one hand, there is the promise of growth, of stepping into a stronger sense of who you are and what you value. On the other hand, the cosmos is testing your patience, asking you to slow down and make wiser choices, especially when the temptation to rush is strongest. The Sun, your ruling planet, begins its journey this month by illuminating your second house. This is the space of your finances, your personal values, and the foundations of family and security. For the first part of October, your attention will naturally be drawn to money matters, the things you own, and the way you define your worth. You may feel a surge of motivation to earn more, invest in something important, or to simply claim what you feel you deserve. Yet as the Sun moves into a different sector later in the month, the focus shifts. It's no longer just about possessions or income. It becomes about how those things fit into your larger vision of life. This shift can feel unsettling, but it's also an invitation to remember that your true wealth is never only measured in numbers. Mars, full of drive and restlessness, stirs your energy, fueling you with courage to act and speak boldly. At the same time, Mercury's movements bring a cautionary note. There may be moments when communication gets tangled, when words are misunderstood, or when plans don't unfold as smoothly as you expect. Add to that the influence of Venus. Your relationships, your creativity, your very sense of beauty and harmony are in the spotlight, sometimes glowing warmly, other times flickering with uncertainty. Together, these planetary shifts set a stage where your emotions may swing between confidence and doubt, passion and hesitation. That is why mid-October becomes a turning point. The universe is practically whispering, "Do not rush." Decisions made on impulse could carry consequences, and this is a month where slowing down, pausing, and listening to your inner wisdom will protect you more than charging forward recklessly. Leo, the theme of October is not just about external wins or setbacks. It is about the dance between knowing when to shine brightly and when to gather your light inward, protecting it until the right moment arrives. If you can balance this rhythm, you will discover that even the challenges hold opportunities disguised as lessons. Leo, when it comes to your career this October, the month opens with a spark that feels almost unstoppable. Mars, fueling your third house, hands you energy, courage, and the hunger to push forward. It's like standing at the starting line of a race you've been preparing for. Your heart beats faster, your mind sharpens, and suddenly, everything seems possible. Early October is your moment to tackle the projects you've been postponing, to tie up loose ends, and to prove to yourself that your determination is far greater than any obstacle in your path. You will feel a burst of momentum, and if you channel it wisely, you'll make remarkable progress. But here's where the story twists. Between October 3rd and 24, Mercury weakens, and that fog I mentioned earlier begins to roll in. During this stretch, big business launches or major public moves may not go the way you expect. Misunderstandings, delays, or even outright missteps can shadow anything rushed or too bold. Imagine building a tower while the foundation is still shifting. The structure looks impressive, but it won't stand the test of time. That is the risk you face if you leap too quickly in these weeks. This doesn't mean your ambition should be dimmed, quite the opposite. Use this time to refine, to polish, to prepare. Strengthen your connections, expand your network, and pay attention to the details that usually get overlooked. The quieter effort you put in now will become the secret strength that supports your success later. By the end of October, the fog begins to lift, and the seeds you've carefully tended will be ready to sprout. If you can resist the urge to roar too loudly before the timing is right, your patience will be rewarded with clarity and recognition. Remember, Leo, true power isn't only about charging forward, it's about knowing when to wait, when to strike, and when to let the world catch up to your light. October brings you opportunities with money, Leo, but it also tests your discipline. In the first half of the month, Jupiter's influence strengthens your potential for gains. You may see doors open for new income, or perhaps a past effort finally begins to pay off. It can feel like the universe is handing you a little extra momentum, a reminder that your talents and hard work do not go unnoticed. This is the time to collect what's owed, to negotiate confidently, and to value the resources already flowing toward you. But alongside this bright wave comes a challenge. Saving may feel nearly impossible, as if every coin that lands in your hand is already whispering to be spent. And as the sun moves into weakened positions mid-month, that temptation grows riskier. Picture yourself spotting something dazzling, a new gadget, a luxury, an investment that looks irresistible. On the surface, it seems like the answer to a craving, but beneath it lies a cost greater than the price tag: your peace of mind, your long-term stability, perhaps even your time and energy. This is the lesson October delivers. Not everything shiny is meant for you. Your real wealth comes from knowing when to say no, when to hold back, and when to recognize that the greatest investment you can make is in your own stability. If you can resist the urge to overspend or lock yourself into commitments you'll later regret, the end of the month will leave you not only with more in your pocket, but also with the pride of knowing you mastered yourself instead of being mastered by impulse. In matters of the heart, October begins with a glow that feels almost magnetic. With Venus still in your sign until October 9th, warmth flows effortlessly into your relationships. It's as if your very presence draws people closer, and love, whether romantic, familial, or even friendships, feels alive, generous, and nourishing. If you're in a relationship, the first days of the month can bring moments of closeness that remind you why you chose each other in the first place. If you're single, this early period carries sparks of attraction, chances to meet someone new, or simply the confidence to put yourself out there in ways you haven't dared before. But as the month shifts into its second half, the energy around relationships becomes more delicate. The warmth doesn't vanish, but it no longer flows as freely. This is where nuance matters. Small misunderstandings, unspoken expectations, or clashes of pride could stir tension. What was easy in the beginning of October may now require effort, patience, and care. For those in committed relationships, this is not a sign of doom, but a reminder to respect timing. Choosing your words carefully, honoring boundaries, and listening with sincerity will preserve harmony when the waters get rough. For single Leos, the temptation to dive headfirst into a new connection is strong, but the lesson here is to pace yourself. You may indeed meet someone who excites you, someone who reflects your fire back at you, but don't let that initial spark blind you to the need for real foundation. Love that endures is not just about the thrill of the moment, but the strength built slowly, with honesty and trust. October asks you to remember that relationships are mirrors, reflecting not only what others bring but also what you project. When you lead with warmth, respect, and patience, love in all its forms deepens, no matter the challenges along the way. Leo, your energy at the start of October feels fiery and unstoppable, but even the brightest flame needs fuel. As the month unfolds, especially in its later stages, you may notice dips in your vitality. It's easy to get so caught up in work, relationships, or chasing goals that you push your body past its limits, neglecting the very habits that sustain you. Skipping rest, letting exercise slide, or leaning on quick fixes in your diet might seem harmless in the moment, but these small choices can quietly build into exhaustion. The real risk this month isn't just physical strain, it's mental fatigue. Your mind, like your body, needs balance, and without moments of pause, the pressure can weigh heavier than you expect. This October, your challenge is to treat rest not as a luxury, but as a vital part of your success. Ground yourself in simple routines, consistent sleep, mindful eating, regular movement. These aren't distractions from your goals, they are the foundation that makes every victory possible. If you honor your limits and care for your well-being, you'll find that your fire doesn't fade. It steadies, burns brighter, and carries you further than the quick bursts of unchecked energy ever could. In your home and personal circle, October highlights the power of words and the weight of pride. Mid-month especially, misunderstandings can surface easily, not because intentions are bad, but because egos get in the way. You may find yourself wanting to stand firm, to prove a point, or to defend your perspective. But Leo, the cost of being right could be greater than the satisfaction it brings. This is where empathy becomes your most valuable tool. When you choose to listen with openness rather than to roar with authority, you shift the entire atmosphere around you. The people closest to you don't need perfection, they need presence. They need to feel your warmth, the same warmth that draws strangers to you so effortlessly. By softening your approach and showing responsibility, you can turn tense moments into opportunities for deeper trust. The beauty of October is that even with these challenges, your domestic environment can improve significantly. A little extra patience, a little extra care, and your home becomes a sanctuary again, a place where bonds are strengthened and love outweighs conflict. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Lead with your heart, and the walls of your home will echo with peace. October unfolds in clear chapters for you, Leo, each carrying its own rhythm. The first days, from October 1st through 9, shimmer with possibility. Venus still shines in your sign, blessing you with charm, magnetism, and a natural pull toward both love and career opportunities. These are the days to lean into connection, to share your ideas, and to let your light be seen without hesitation. Then comes the middle stretch, from October 10th to 24, when the tone shifts. Mercury weakens, and the Sun moves into positions that make clarity harder to grasp. This is your caution zone, a period where you must think twice before acting. Words can be misinterpreted, plans delayed, or emotions stirred in ways that cloud your judgment. Patience and thoughtfulness are your best allies here. It's not a time for bold leaps, but for reflection and steadying yourself before the next move. By the final days of the month, the tide turns once again. Mars shifts, Mercury regains strength, and the fog begins to clear. What once felt stalled suddenly starts moving, and the ideas you've been holding close finally have the momentum to carry forward. This is the window to act on what you've prepared, to take those plans out of draft form and bring them into the world. October in this way becomes less about a single climax and more about knowing when to rise, when to pause, and when to rise again. If you honor the timing, you'll find yourself aligned with the flow instead of fighting against it. Leo, October offers you growth, but it also sets a few traps along the way. The first is the temptation to speak too soon, or commit too strongly when the air is still thick with uncertainty. When communication is fuzzy, promises can backfire, and launches may stumble before they ever take off. Hold your fire until clarity returns. You'll thank yourself later. Money too demands discipline. The lure of overspending will be strong this month, especially when emotions run high, or when something shiny seems to promise instant satisfaction. Resist the urge to drain your resources on impulse. Your strength will come from restraint, from knowing that real security is worth far more than a fleeting thrill. And perhaps most importantly, be mindful of pride. Your natural confidence is a gift, but if unchecked, it can turn sharp, cutting into the very relationships that sustain you. Misinterpreted words or an unyielding stance could create rifts where connection should be. Step back when needed, listen more carefully, and let humility soften your roar. October is not about perfection, Leo. It's about awareness. By avoiding these pitfalls, you create space for your brightest qualities to shine without being dimmed by unnecessary conflict or regret. Leo, the way to navigate October is to work with its rhythm rather than against it. At the start of the month, when your energy is high and the stars favor you, set your goals with intention. Focus on the areas that matter most: your finances, your creativity, and your relationships. This is the time to define what you want, to map out the path ahead, and to plant the seeds that will carry you forward. But as the energy shifts mid-month, resist the urge to push big changes into motion. Instead, treat this time as a planning phase. Refine your ideas, gather your resources, and wait for the fog to lift before you make your bolder moves. What you build patiently now will have the stability to last. Just as important, take care of yourself along the way. Schedule rest before exhaustion demands it. Feed your body and your mind with what truly sustains you, not just what's convenient. Your fire burns brightest when you honor your limits. And above all, guard the quality of your connections. Clear, respectful communication is your strongest ally. Listen as deeply as you speak. And remember that presence is more powerful than pride. By following these steps, you align yourself not only with the flow of October, but with the best of who you are becoming. Leo, October may test your patience and stretch your limits, but what it gives you in return is something far more valuable: clarity. This is the month that shows you what truly matters, what's worth your energy, and what you're ready to release. The challenges aren't here to break you. They're here to sharpen you, to remind you that even when the ground shifts, your fire still burns steady. So let me ask you this: what's one area of your life where you've been pushing too hard? And what could you let go of this month to allow something better to flow in? Sit with that question, because the answer could change the way you move forward. If today's reading resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss the guidance waiting for you each month. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and let me know in the comments which area, love, money or health, you'd like me to dive deeper into. Your voice matters here, and your journey is what inspires this channel to keep growing. Now carry this clarity with you, Leo. October is yours to navigate, and the universe is walking right beside you.